The moment the plate shattered on the diner floor, the world seemed to hold its breath, as if even the neon lights above were ashamed to flicker. Grease, red sauce, and broken noodles spread across the black and white tiles like a wound that refused to close, and in that instant, a young waitress's life split into before and after. Fear pressed down on her chest, heavy and merciless, while a room full of powerful men watched to see how small a human being could be made to feel. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the quiet power of standing up for what is right, take a moment right now to like this video, share it, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel so more stories like this can reach the people who need them. Her name was Lena, and she had learned early that survival often meant staying silent. She worked double shifts at Rosie's diner to keep the lights on in a one-room apartment and to help her younger brother finish school. That night, exhaustion clung to her bones, but she kept smiling because kindness was the only armor she had ever owned. When the men walked in, dressed in dark suits and heavy boots, the air changed. Their presence carried weight, authority, and something colder. They filled the booths like a storm rolling in, and behind them came the leather-clad riders, the Hell's Angels, faces hard as stone, eyes trained on everything and nothing at once. Lena's hands trembled as she served the food, not because she had done anything wrong, but because she felt the unspoken rules closing in around her. One wrong move, one breath taken at the wrong time, and dignity could be stripped away in front of strangers. When the plate slipped, it felt unreal, like watching someone else's nightmare. The sound echoed louder than it should have, and sauce splattered her uniform, her skin, her pride. She dropped to her knees without thinking, instinctively trying to fix what could not be fixed, and that was when the cruelty revealed itself fully. The order that followed did not need to be shouted. Power rarely does. It was enough that everyone understood what was being demanded, that humiliation was the point, that obedience was expected. Lena's face burned as tears blurred her vision, and the room watched, silent and hungry for spectacle. She tasted metal in her mouth, not from the food on the floor, but from fear and disbelief. Each second stretched into an eternity, and in those moments, she felt smaller than she had ever felt before, reduced to an object meant to entertain the worst parts of human nature. But something else was happening beneath the surface. Among the riders and suits were men who had seen darkness before, who had lived by codes, twisted as they might be. Some remembered sisters, daughters, mothers who had stood where Lena knelt, powerless and alone. A tension rippled through the room, invisible but real, as eyes shifted and jaws tightened. The boss who had orchestrated the humiliation believed control was absolute, that fear would seal loyalty and silence forever. He had no idea that cruelty, once exposed, can turn even hardened hearts against the one who wields it. Time seemed to fracture when one of the riders stepped forward, not with rage, but with a heavy stillness that demanded attention. The diner felt suddenly smaller, the walls closer, as if the building itself were listening. The men in suits stiffened, sensing that something had changed. Respect, the kind earned through unspoken rules, began to outweigh fear. Lena felt it too, a subtle shift, like the first breath after nearly drowning. What followed was not loud or chaotic, but decisive. Authority was challenged without a single word needing to be spoken aloud. The humiliation ended as abruptly as it had begun, and Lena was helped to her feet, her hands still shaking, her heart pounding like it might break free. The men who had watched in silence now looked away, some in shame, others in anger, all realizing that power built on cruelty is fragile. The boss left the diner that night with his reputation cracked, his control weakened by the very act meant to strengthen it. In the days that followed, Lena struggled with the weight of what had happened. Nightmares came easily, and trust did not. Yet something unexpected grew alongside the pain. Strangers returned to the diner just to see if she was okay. Tips were left larger than usual, notes scribbled on napkins offering encouragement. Word spread, not of her humiliation, but of her strength, of how dignity can survive even the harshest attempts to destroy it. She began to understand that being broken in public did not mean staying broken forever. The riders never returned, but their impact lingered in a strange way. They had reminded the room, and perhaps themselves, that lines exist for a reason. Lena saved enough money to take a class she had always dreamed of, one step toward a future not defined by fear. She carried the memory with her, not as a scar meant to shame, but as proof that even in the darkest rooms, humanity can still choose to stand. As this story comes close to its end, take a moment to reflect on how easily power can be abused, and how quietly it can be challenged. If this story touched your heart, if it made you feel something real, Please like the video, share it with someone who believes in compassion, and subscribe to support stories that remind us of our shared humanity. And before this video ends, leave a comment below sharing what this story made you feel, because your words might be the encouragement someone else needs today. Lena's life did not become perfect, but it became hers again, shaped not by the men who tried to break her, but by the courage that rose in the aftermath. In a small diner lit by neon and hope, a lesson was learned that night, one that echoes far beyond those checkered floors, reminding us that kindness, once defended, can be stronger than fear.